Hi, my name is Dan Golden, and I work with IDP English, and I'm here to give you some practical advice today about how to improve your score on your IELTS test. I'm going to give you 4 things to keep in mind when you take the IELTS listening test. First of all, be prepared for a variety of accents. Yes, even if you're taking UKVI, you're going to hear British and Americans speaking English, as well as Asians, South Americans, Australians, Indians, people from many different countries. So get used to listening to different accents so you can understand what they're saying. One problem that a lot of people have in the IELTS test is that when information changes, they reach for their eraser. When you erase, you stop listening. So never erase in the IELTS test. If information changes, just draw a line through it and keep writing. Write the right answer next to it. No one's going to see your test booklet. It doesn't matter if your test booklet looks pretty. You're not going to get any extra points for that. What you get points for are right answers. Finally, when you're writing your answers, be aware of final consonants. I know that some languages don't use final consonants that English does use. For instance, the final consonant S, or often pronounced S in speaking, because without them, the answer is going to be incorrect. Now, let's talk about the reading part of the IELTS test. One of the things that you can do best for reading is to improve your vocabulary, because you need a lot of words that mean the same thing. The IELTS questions in the reading test aren't going to use the same words that are in the text. You need to know synonyms, you need to know parallel expressions, you need to know words and phrases with the same meaning. You're going to come across a lot of words in the readings that'll be unfamiliar to you. Don't worry about them. Skip over them. In fact, you don't even want to read the entire reading. You want to skim, scan, and occasionally read for detail. You want to skim for general meaning. You want to skim for the main idea. You want to scan for a detail, a name of a person or an institution or a publication or a date. Sometimes you do need to read a section of a reading for detail to figure out exactly what the writer is saying. But you don't want to read the entire reading. In the academic part of the writing test, Task 1, you have to analyze a chart, a graph, or a table. Perhaps you have to write about a process or a map or things that are similar. What you need to do is look for what's changing between the different events. What's increasing or what's decreasing, what's changing over time, or what things are different. Remember, change can only happen if the graph or chart or table shows time. If there's no time, there's no change. So you need to be aware of that and be sure that you're using the correct vocabulary. If there's time, you can talk about something increasing or decreasing. But if a chart or graph or table doesn't show time, then you can't use that language. You need to talk about something is 2 or 3 times larger than or smaller than. You need to talk about how numbers compare to one another, because there's nothing to say about time. In a process essay, you want to use 2 different things. You want to be sure and use passive voice to talk about what's happening, and you want to be sure and use words that sequence events. First, next, then, after that, meanwhile, finally. Very important that you use passive voice and sequencing words in a process essay. If you're being asked to compare 2 different maps, it's important that your essay consists of comparisons. Don't write about one map and then write about the other map. No, instead, compare the features of the maps that are similar and that are different. That's how you're going to write a good Task 1 essay. In Task 2 of the IELTS writing test, you have to answer a question or questions on a topic that you're given. Sometimes you're given a fact and you need to come up with reasons and perhaps examples, solutions. You may have to discuss an opinion or two different opinions. Read the question carefully and be sure that your essay answers the question or questions. That's my number one tip for writing an IELTS Task 2 essay. Before you write, spend some time planning your answer. Look at the question and think about what you have to do. Use the space in your test booklet underneath the question to come up with perhaps advantages and disadvantages, or reasons and solutions, causes and effects, whatever you're being asked to do. At this point, you're brainstorming ideas. Take about 5 minutes to brainstorm. You've got that much time. And write down every idea that comes into your head. This isn't a time to evaluate whether an idea is good or not. No, write down every idea that you come up with. Then, once you've got 5 or 6 ideas for each, look and figure out which ones are best, and those are the ones that you're going to use as examples when you write your essay. Spending some time planning will help you to write a more organized essay and an essay that flows better and is smoother, and will help you to get a better score. It's important that you have ideas on a number of topics because you don't know what you're going to be asked to write about. So keep up with the news, keep up with what's happening in the world, and that's going to give you some really great background information to use as examples in your IELTS Task 2 writing.
Em thấy hệ thống phòng thi ở IDP rất là hiện đại và các anh chị nhân viên cũng rất là thân thiện. Bởi vì vậy cho nên là em đã hoàn thành kỳ thi IELTS một cách xuất sắc với một tâm lý vô cùng thoải mái.